there are people out there who say that Barack Obama supporters are deluded and delusional, that he hasn't really done anything, that he's just like this blank slate and all this pretty rhetoric without a lot behind it.
Well, that just means he's not corrupt.
Give me 2 big Barack accomplishments in the Senate.
Actually, I don't know.
I mean, he's passed reforms on health care and, you know,
no, reforms on health care has passed his lips, but I don't think he's actually passed anything.
All right, well, the ethics reform.
It didn't get out of his committee, right? Or it didn't pass? But he tried.
Come on, man. You got to give me, at least I can name something.
He didn't vote for the Iraqi war.
But he wasn't in the Senate. He couldn't have voted for the Iraqi war.
But I'll tell you what, he opposed it from the get-go. And I'll tell you, your heart tells you everything you really need to know.
There are people out there who say all these Barack Obama supporters are deluded.
He's infallible. He can't fuck up.
So it's actually the Pope we're here to see today.
I was reading in the Sun-Times yesterday, there is a bunch of stuff that he was for and legislation he worked on. When people realize it and take a look at it, they're going to go, he's for that?
Exactly.
People have been talking about the people who come to these rallies and saying, oh, they're so romantic. They're all just infatuated.
You're going to fall out of love with him?
Giving an unknown and unproven candidate a spot on the podium was a risky move.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But party leaders believed Obama was someone who could breathe new life into their party. To many, Barack Obama had burst onto the national stage out of nowhere.
So it's kind of scary when you think about it, that when Barack Obama entered the lowest rung on his political career, when he became a lawyer and filed his legal bar application with the state of Illinois, he filled in the space where it asks for any previously used names as none, whereas actually we know that his previous name was Barry Soetoro from documents filed in Indonesia, and we also have seen that he filed a birth certificate on his website, which ends up being fake because it has no official seal. Kind of an interesting way to start a career in politics, by hiding your name.
Barack Obama goes to great lengths to dispel misconceptions that he is a Muslim.
Let's make clear what the facts are. I am a Christian.
Obama's campaign has prevented Muslim women wearing headscarves from appearing behind him in a photo op, a move the campaign later apologized for.
Mr. Obama described the call to prayer as one of the prettiest sounds on the earth at sunset. Mr. Obama, you don't dispute you were registered in school as a Muslim, that you spent hours studying the Quran, went to the mosque where that both your father and stepfather were Muslim. Why not just tell the truth and admit you were a Muslim too?
When Barack Obama was a teenager, he was mentored by a man that he refers to in his book as Frank. It turns out that Frank was a Stalinist communist. But why not just say that in the book? Why hide it? If you're proud of it, if you're proud of what your mentor taught you, which was not to be proud of America, and to hate the American way, and why hide a relationship with a cousin in Kenya who wants to be an Islamic dictator?
I think I've been very clear. There's a presidential election in 4 years. I'm not running for president in 4 years.
And Barack Obama is going up to New Hampshire. He's somebody I imagine Republicans should be fearful of.
Not
He's a great speaker.
Help me down as somebody that underestimates Barack Hussein Obama. Please, I mean, this man is a blank canvas where people project their desires and their ideal candidate because nobody knows.
Big news coming out this morning about a possible presidential contender, Barack Obama. Something he left out of the book that he wrote about his life growing up, that apparently when he was a young boy, he attended a Muslim school, a madrasa, which is a Muslim seminary, for 4 years while he lived in Indonesia with his stepfather and his mother. Hillary Clinton, her campaign, is making this now a major issue, and what else will come after this is the big question.
How extraordinary is this? You know, we were talking earlier this week, Brian, about how long is the mainstream media going to be giving this guy a pass because, you know, he's an attractive guy, good speaker. Oprah Winfrey loved him on her show, and when is the scrutiny going to start? Well, apparently the scrutiny, Hillary's people have already done a bunch of investigating, and in today's Insight magazine, which is a publication of the Washington Times, they talk about how Barack Obama, raised as a Muslim, by his stepfather, also who was a Muslim, eventually an atheist, in Jakarta, Indonesia. So, and, you know, what have we heard about coming out of the madrasah schools over in Indonesia? This is huge.
It's big about his background. It's also interesting. He had 2 best-selling biographies. It did not come up, was not directly addressed. They also found out that some of the characters in his biographies are composite characters, which he did not say up front. And if you think that Barack Obama is under some scrutiny now, just picture what's going to be happening if he continues to lead over in Iowa and in New Hampshire. If you lay it out on the line now, maybe let the public get used to it and then move on, that's key. But the fact that somebody else had to come out with that is negative for the Obama camp.
The other fact, though, is that how tough is it really to come up with stuff about Barack Obama, because most people don't really know a lot about him. They just know that he's a charismatic character, and according to a lot of people, they like him.
Well,
so it's pretty easy maybe to come up with stuff because there's just not that much really known about him.
Plus, you know, there's kind of been a drip of stuff. His middle name, Hussein. Well, now that makes sense because his father was Muslim and named him Barack Hussein Obama. And then 10 days ago, the news that when he was in high school, he used cocaine. Didn't use heroin. Did use pot. That's out there. Now the news that he was raised a Muslim until, you know, now he goes to a Christian church in Chicago, but raised a Muslim, went to a madrasa for 4 years. You know, you add it all up. Will it take its effect?
A journey to take our country back and fundamentally change the nature of our politics.
I stand before you today to announce my candidacy.
Senator Obama went out of his way today to avoid reporters and their questions.
I was kind of hoping I could find out something about Barack Obama's agenda by looking at his voting record. But what you find in the voting record is basically not voting. He just warmed up a seat much of the time. Much of his 146 days of experience in the Senate was keeping a chair warm. It's incredible, really. Present, present, present. But no opinions, just the blank, invisible Obama. Just what is it he doesn't want us to know?
It was horrible.
Flora, my darling.
Thank God you're home. Why did you do this?
For you, Flora.
For me?
Yes, for you, my darling. I wanted to do something tremendous. To achieve what men of science have dreamt of since the world began. To gain wealth and fame and honor. I shall offer my secret to the world with all its terrible power. The nations of the world will bid for it, thousands, millions. The nation that wins my secret can sweep the world with invisible armies.
Dieses deutsche Volk